Hi everyone, welcome to a new edition of the Companial Talkie. Again, with me today is Chris Barks, and we are talking about multiplexing. Hi Chris, thanks for being with us.
Hi, Ursula.
Chris, what exactly is multiplexing?
Yeah, it's a really good question. Always good to start with a definition, I think. There's two different definitions of multiplexing if you look in the Microsoft guides, unfortunately. But ultimately, it comes down to the use of hardware or software to pull connections, reroute or indirectly access information, and or reduce the number of devices or users that directly access or use a product. If you look in the multiplexing kind of guide, that's what it says. If you look into the product terms, the word indirectly, so directly or indirectly access or use a product, and it's a term used to basically make sure that users are correctly licensed and that they do not access software without the right license.
Okay. And why is this relevant for Business Central, Power Platform, and CRM?
Yeah, again, good question. The ability is there to synchronize data between Dataverse and Business Central. And there's two levels of kind of integration, data integration available out of the box. One is sales integration, but the other is just at the lowest level, Dataverse integration. And that means that accounts and contacts, currencies and salespeople can be synchronized between Business Central, which is on a separate data platform, not Dataverse, and Dataverse, so that the same accounts, the same entities, the fields, the data is available to sales and customer service to make kind of Dynamics look like it's one seamless product from a data perspective.
Okay. So can you give me an example of what is considered multiplexing?
Yeah, absolutely. If I was to write a Power App, for example, and that Power App was used to create an invoice, and the invoice was then automatically generated inside of Business Central. I would be basically using a Power App license to replicate some kind of functionality that existed in Business Central to get out of having to procure a Business Central license. That's a really simple example, and nobody would ever kind of write that Power App. But the fact that you can would mean that that would be a perfect example of multiplexing where you could license, say, 1,000 users using a Power Apps license instead of giving them a Business Central license.
Okay. And the other way around, can you give me an example of what is not considered multiplexing?
This is less clear cut, I think, is the best way to put this across. It is a grey area, but the way I look at this, if you think about Dataverse being the underlying data platform for both Dynamics 365 Sales and Dynamics 365 Customer Service, and we use them as examples. If you've got 15 customer service reps in an organization, and let's say 5 salespeople, the customer service reps don't actually need a sales license to access the accounts and contacts. They are covered by use of their license. The same goes for sales, and they don't need a customer service license. So once you bring Business Central into there, the question then, so that's not multiplexing. First and foremost, that's not multiplexing. You know, your sales users and your customer service users license. When you put Business Central into the mix and you turn on data synchronization, that's when the question becomes more: am I or am I not multiplexing in this scenario?
Mm-hmm. And so back to Business Central, Power Platform, and CRM and the scenario before. Can we be sure what is and what is not multiplexing?
We can't be sure because it's not explicitly defined in either the product terms or any of the licensing guides. The multiplexing guide is particularly out of date. And I think the best thing to do here is to go with kind of the Microsoft line where somebody isn't multiplexing and just understanding what multiplexing is designed to ensure isn't circumvented. So if you write an application on top of Dynamics 365 Power Platform, and you have Dataverse synchronization turned on, and that replicates functionality in one of the products or Business Central, for example, then you are possibly multiplexing. You can't get around that, but we can't be sure. unfortunately, it's not defined anywhere. Even if you ask Bing AI, which is Microsoft's big thing, that will not directly give you an answer, unfortunately. Based on its immense knowledge, it still says it's unclear whether or not such a scenario would be multiplexing.
Interesting. And can you help me understand what Microsoft have done to help partners navigate a customer's licensing needs here?
Yeah, absolutely. So Microsoft have released attached licensing for both Business Central when it comes to running Dynamics 365 enterprise workloads that aren't Business Central, and the same the other way around. There's attached licensing now for Business Central onto Dynamics 365 kind of enterprise licensing SKUs. So there's a very clear way in which you can ensure that every customer is correctly licensed and is compliant, even if you are unsure whether or not you are multiplexing. Err on the side of caution. You have those attached licenses to use, but if you also think about the example where data versus data is synchronized, I think you can also say that sometimes those attached licenses aren't needed, where you're not directly replicating functionality that exists within a product.
Okay. Yeah, thanks a lot, Chris. Very insightful as usual. At least for me, multiplexing is now a little bit more clear. Thanks to you for listening in, and see you at the next Companial Talkie, and have a wonderful day.